watching Word Is. Yeah.
You're watching Word Is.
Watching Word Is.
You are watching Word Is. Subscribe right here, right now.
The raw, uncut, good and bad.
That body fire, sparking my desire.
It's Word Is again. Saita in the studio. Still my pump shots. Up under Tiyas.
I don't do the pump shots.
Maybe he's hiding something. Asad.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, yeah. But like us on Facebook, on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. Yeah. Today we have the legend. Mr. R&B, 3-time award winner. Your recent one was?
Should be 4.
4.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 4.
Okay.
It's 4. But it's cool. It's cool.
Okay.
The 4th one I still don't have. I'm still waiting for it to be delivered to the crib.
Eat the MTV.
It's coming. I know we'll pass that one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. How are you, Chris?
For the 3rd time, but I was in Bonga. I'm good. Honored to be here. Looking forward to hear what you got for me.
No, what you got for us. It's not about us, it's about you, though.
It's about me.
Yeah, it's about you.
So okay, I know talking is not a problem.
Yeah, cool.
Talking is not a problem.
Yeah. So, how's Jim?
Hey, I should be asking you, man. You look like you're struggling at gym, my guy. I saw you carrying 6 and 6 and you were putting your back into it. I was like, yo, no man. Gym is not for everybody.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
I tried though. I'm quitting in there. But do you and
you quit already? You've been there for like a week.
No, it's incredible.
Yeah, six pack.
I had a goal. I was hanging with you.
So Richie.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah. So do you and the Mrs. Tiamika like have a routine methods? Because you look organized with you.
No, it's organized, really.
You look organized.
Yeah.
Can't be that I just go to.
Our day starts at 4:30. So wake up, hit the morning jog, come back, meditation, plan the day, attack the day. Around 2, 3, 4, we start fixing for gym. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Good luck, okay, cool.
Yeah. So we're organized when it comes to gym, which is why when we see guys like yourself, how do I put it? It's not clear what the goal is.
No, the goal was it's summer.
Yeah, summer body.
Yeah, actually the gym. Yeah. And stuff.
But when you already have a summer body.
No, guy, when I get like 10 kids.
Yeah.
Like that's a goal. Summer can get 10 kids but in the town.
100%.
Try something.
Bangagbo.
Oh, gosh.
Ish, yeah, well. But try songs, one ish. But last of all.
Yeah, so who's Tiami?
If you're asking about Diamike, he's a...
Like from Kututarepi, Kulerepi, yeah.
Diamike Mazia is born in Alabama, Huntsville, USA. So that's where I start out. We come down to Swaziland. I'm at Sydney Williams for all of primary. We then moved to Harare with the old man who got a job there. Were there for 2 years. Come back. I do Waterford. Gwaluseni now.
Okay.
Basically.
I heard
Yeah. I'm probably one of the controversial characters in my family. She's agreeing vehemently. So what it was is I'm a 7-day Adventist, and to make matters worse, I was studying law. To make matters even worse still, we're studying human rights and constitutional law. So when you're told you have to choose, and these were the registrar's words at verbatim, choose between your religion and your exam. It just sparked something in me that said, it's something I want to stand for. Not for myself, but for people coming after me. There's a habit, a socializing in Swaziland, that we leave things as they are, wrong or right. If something is wrong, we don't speak up against it because, hey, you are the dissenting view, you are the minority. I don't fit in that mold. So, where that's worked for me or worked against me, I've always chosen to just speak my truth. It's either you vibe with it or you don't. Yeah.
I've seen the same. I feel like that's in artists. Artists are so patriotic in the industry. Even if something is going wrong with them, but how's the industry? They would say, no, go grand.
Yeah, push up, boy.
Yeah, push up, boy. Then you ask him for something else, but so I would say, as long as we push it, I'll work on this goal. Thank God. Yeah, well, so again, I would say it doesn't help us. It doesn't help anything.
Yeah, it doesn't help. There's a close industry friend of mine, Courtesy. I think as far as exchanging of ideas, there's a meeting of the mind of sorts now. Our philosophy has always been, if what I am doing is whack, just tell me straight up. We're on the same team, we're all trying to push this forward. It doesn't help for you to keep on gassing me. It sounds good, you're doing great, you're the man, and then when we go out there, we're shocked at the reception we're getting. So yeah, I'm more inclined to speaking my truth. If somebody tells me something isn't right, I'm not really inclined to argue with you, except to get a better understanding of where you're coming from. Ekaya, they call me the debater. I come across as argumentative, but my whole concept is, if I say that's black, and you say it's white, I want to know the rationale behind your answer. Even if I disagree, I should be able to understand what's okay, but they are coming from this point. I always give people the example of, at one point, the world was flat. That was a fact. It was a fact from the majority. And wrong or right, it was argued by academics worldwide, and they came to the conclusion that the world must be flat. And for a long time, science said the world is flat, until somebody came with a dissenting view to say, we think it's round. And it was debated, but in that debate, we didn't get emotional around, but this is what everyone has always said. So, yeah, it's a sickness the industry is facing right now, where we just want to gas each other up. We don't want to point out when something is wrong. You'll be labeled as hating or not supporting or not being loyal to local. When some people are just trying to up your game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think that has been my problem. It's when in the show, it's when I went album reviews and stuff. So we're still going to do them. I'm to send out one. Yeah. I think that has been my problem. But see, I'm one person that takes it straight. If it's whack, it's whack. If it's good, it's good. You know, so I think if we finally do it, we'll get a lot of negative. Because one, but as we hate it. So can see the goal is trying to make people aware. Could see when the info.
Yeah. The scary thing though is art is it's not a science, it's not maths, it's not physics, it's not something we can calculate. This is good, this is bad. I remember Pitch Black Afro when he came out. A group of my friends. I started out as a hip hop artist. People who didn't know. Like heavy.
How did that?
Yeah.
How you get it out?
There were too many rappers. There were too many rappers, and it was a time where in my stable everyone was a rapper. So for you to try, at the time I was a rapper, I was at Claiming Ground. This is before an album ever came out. So at that point, everyone there is a rapper. So if you're trying to put out work, you're gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people back in line.
Yeah.
But when we started out, when Pitch Black Afro came out, there was a heated debate, and I was the one saying, I think the guy has no skills. We can't classify him as a rapper. And another guy was saying, no, but they'll feel it because that's what pop is. It's what's popping right now. It's what's pop culture, and that's what he is right now. Win or lose, I don't know if people could say he stayed in the industry for long, but in that time, he was dominant. Now, somebody could look at it and say, but Tiyas, you were right. The guy didn't last in the industry. Another guy can look at it and say, no, you were wrong. The guy was hot at that time. There's nobody in Sadak who didn't know who Pitch Black Afro was.
I think it's gimmicks. Because guy has buzz for days. I don't think it's gimmicks. Gimmicks can last for so long. Jenga, I
man.
So comes, and then after that, then what? So yeah, it's 4 albums.
It's 3 albums. Yeah. The first one came out in 2005. The second one came out, I think, 2010 or 2010, and then this last one came out 2015.
How's the reception?
It's been good. I think for me, I have always been lucky in that I'm in a genre that isn't popular in our region, but it has the people that listen to it and are loyal to it, which has allowed me to pull off big solo shows. It's allowed me to do live performances in the way I want to do them. It's allowed me to stand out when I go to Malawi, Mozambique, South Africa. Yeah, and then also in the genre, I'm not doing it how other people do it because I started as hip-hop. So there's more rhythm, rhyming, punchlines. You could classify it sometimes as hip-hop melody. So yeah, that has made it such that my career has lasted for the 12 years. At no point have I been irrelevant in my career, which is something I look at with pride. Hey, I know we'll come through with the come through.
Okay.
Yeah. But you come through with your one. What was Bangasan?
What if it's 3, right?
Huh?
What if it's 3, maybe 2, right?
Oh no, even Beira, my friend.
So yeah, how many awards? In Maswama.
Lies yeah, I got a Swama.
That's already.
Yeah. I got a Tishabani. I got a NASA. I got 2 Tishabanis. Yeah.
2009.
For Lies the Truth, I got an album twice. The gap between the two, between the award ceremonies was shorter. Yeah. So for Lies the Truth, I got 2. But it's always been best R&B. I think the only time I didn't win one was for the first awards that were held. Yeah.
How is winning an award for you? Do you need that validation?
No. The Swamas were the first award show I ever attended. Reason being, I felt they approached it with the respect it's required. They engaged the artist from ground level. How do you want to see this go? I think that's a critical part for when we're building an industry. For your, let's call them a regulator. If you're talking about arts and culture and SWAMA and whatever music organizations are out there, if you're going to do something for your artists, that means that's the most critical stakeholder you have. Start with engaging them. What are the errors that have happened in the past that we shouldn't repeat? I never felt before, Dihlaban included, NASA's included, I never felt they approached it in that light. It wasn't about local arts showing them to Swaziland. It was more about what we, the organizers, have pulled off. I think to this day, quite a lot of artists that are still waiting for payments from performances 8 years ago, 6 years ago, which to me is criminal when you are talking about arts and culture. You are the custodian of arts in Swaziland, and then you are the person who is breaking your own constitution in not having the artist's well-being at top of heart.
Let me ask you this though. Do you think as an industry we are ready for all? Do you think, Sensei would say, do you think our artists are working hard enough to deserve awards? Because I think different.
Yeah, no, we disagree with that one. It depends on your how long you've been watching South Africa for. South Africa, even if you had to go back 5 years, there were people like Brenda Fassie, Lebo, who died broke. The industry has only come into young adulthood in the last 3-4 years. Before then, if you were watching a Arthur video, if you were watching that video, you might find budget-wise, that's where Swaziland is starting to be in terms of how artists are doing their videos. So we are relatively young, first point. Second point is, if you are looking at population, clientele basis for the arts, money that's potentially going to be made within your borders. Swaziland, let's just say we're about 1 million people. Let's say from that 1 million people, 70% is rural, 30% is urban. Then let's say from that 30%, we are competing for about 10% of people that love music. From that 10% divided by the number of artists that are in the game, you're really not trying to make $1 million in Swaziland. Then there's other artists who will talk about, no, but if you go the corporate route and the what have you, you can count the corporates in Swaziland, and I can guarantee you that you won't get 20 gigs from one corporate. It just would look fishy for one artist to always show up and get a huge check from this one corporate. There's endorsements, there's what have yous, but there's also the market in which this takes place. So the only artists that are going to actually become wealthy from their art are those that are able to penetrate the borders beyond. You can make a name for yourself. I think you can live off music. But can you buy a Range Rover if you're an artist that performs only in Swaziland? Can you buy a house? Can you build a house? I don't know. From my experience in the 12 years has been, it only begins making sense when you are able to cross beyond. So for here, you might pick up a check for 20,000. In South Africa, you might pick up a check for 60,000. If I'm to perform in Babani, Ezulwini, and Manzini in one weekend, I might be performing to the same people. But if I'm performing in Joburg, I can perform in 10 different locations, and it's a completely different crowd. And then you walk that and you say there's Joburg, there's Durban, there's Cape Town. We're comparing apples and donkeys, basically. So do artists in Swaziland, are they at the level where there should be award ceremonies? Yes, definitely. There are legends that have stopped performing that made it possible for your courtesies, your musics, your Tiyas, your Nomalungas, or what have you. Kunabo Pachanga, who Nabonana, who really gave a platform for people to look at local arts and say, yo, I want to do that. And for me, when I joined it, I wasn't joining it to say, yo, I want to make money, I want to be popular. I was saying, I do have the gifts, and I do want there to be an industry in Swaziland. Hopefully when my son grow up, he can kill it. But I want it to be the bricklayer that puts down a solid foundation. That the guys that come in, if there's an R&B cat that's coming up, he should come in knowing that that genre, when people look at it, there's a certain je ne sais quoi. There's a certain prestige that they view it with. And I think it's the same that has happened with other of my stablemates when it came to hip-hop, when it came to Afro-pop, when it came to reggae. You want to be a pioneer such that the people that come after you can take it a lot further. So definitely we want to penetrate Mozambique, we want to penetrate Zambia, we want to get to Nigeria, so that once there's that contact and you're no longer in it, you're able to say, oh, I do know somebody I can connect you with, and they can take it further. Yeah, it's an opportune time for awards to be done and to be done right, which they were.
Yeah. My question is, our artists working hard enough? Because meaning in Buga from a fan, in Buga from outside looking in, would say, are we seeing the albums? Are we seeing the work being put in? Because meaning even as we don't really see the albums. Maybe it's the beginning of my budget issues. I don't know. We don't see the albums. We see bingo,
singles.
Yeah, singles. And now there's a huge space in between. So we see, I don't think they're really working hard enough.
Okay, let me put you on blast. Who would you say you follow?
Whereas I follow Kukangwan.
Yeah.
It's Ghetto Villa.
Ghetto Villa.
Yeah.
How much have you put in Ghetto Villa's pocket? Let's not answer that one. Let's sidebar while you're thinking about that. When you go to the States and you look up Trey songs, there are fan groups around this artist that aren't started by the artist. The artist has no idea that there's women meeting discussing what Tiyas is doing a show. We are getting those tickets, we're distributing them, we're making sure Mavuso's packed. So it becomes hypocritical when somebody on this side says, we're not seeing albums, we're not seeing you do shows. To do an album, if you're recording an album, it could cost you around 10,000. Okay? That's just the recording. To print the CDs could cost you around another 10,000. To do the design could cost another 10,000. To distribute it could cost another, you could be looking at 50,000. Now, for you to do CDs and have them in your car, that's not enough. You need to have a distribution plan. You need to have a manager. You need to pay that guy. You need to make sure that radio DJs are playing your stuff. You need to at least release some CDs for free. All of this is an expense. You want to see the person do shows, but you want the shows to be great production. It costs. Now the question is, you want him to do all of those things. How much money are you putting in Ghetto Villa's pockets?
Put you on blast now. Put you on blast. Our artists supporting other artists, because even I'm going to say it is hypocritical now that I would say fans support us, Gantinina, you fail to support each other.
In what sense?
In what sense? There's some posts on Facebook and they're getting frustrated.
A little.
Yeah. Would say this. I feel like it's something and that can really put us on the map. Fill up Mukam. They are independent.
Look at her face. She's like, don't go there, homie. Don't go there.
Yeah, so like who's had a cell phone? They're like, yeah, on Facebook. Why is that? Here's
the question. I won't answer it direct because I need to have dinner tonight. I ain't trying to beef with the wifey, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So I'm gonna have to read between the lines. Let's say I have the option of buying a BMW, a Mercedes, a Range Rover.
And man, before you go,
you see where I'm going?
No, before you go in, catch up. The Philip Mukambo thing was an example.
An example, yeah. there's many other artists
ones.
trying to
Exactly.
do a movement. My take is you find your tribe. As an artist, that's your mission. The thinking is, if I have one single thought, and I've tested this with Google. Google is like black magic to me. If I ask Google any single warped question that makes sense, there's over 100 people that have asked it that same question. So you will find the answer if you look through Google enough. What this says to me is, if I put out work, it doesn't matter if you think it's garbage and everybody in this room thinks it's garbage, but there's somebody in Swaziland and in the world who will listen to it and say, that's it, that speaks to me. Okay? The guys who listen to Drake and say Drake is garbage. And then the guys who will listen to people say that and say, how can you think Drake is garbage? So if you don't see me at a movement you think I'm supposed to be at, that's on you. If you believe in it, you go for it. But we're not called to follow everything that is local. You're supposed to follow what you view speaks to you, and you are part of that tribe. For me, Courtesy is a rapper. I enjoy his bars because it shows a lot of reading.
Yeah.
It shows a lot of insight into another world that the young school might not understand. I'm not into the swag, dab all day. I like it, but I want to hear what's your knowledge? What are you bringing to the table that will put coin in my pocket because I listen to you? And for me, Courtesy does that. But somebody else would come through and shout, old school's whack, man, no dabbing, no. You get what I'm saying? Now, I can't hate somebody and say you're not doing anything for local entertainment if you don't get behind my guy.
Okay, man, let me ask you directly. Do you feel like artists support other artists?
I do, 100%. When I did, this is when we just took out Lies the Truth. Lies the Truth was the first album where I decided I want to be independent. I think I can do more for my brand if I'm calling the shots. When I did that, I had the very label that I was leaving in attendance at because we did the pre-launch and then we did the launch. We had them at Royal Villas, we had them at Convention Center. The place was packed. You're talking about 2010. This is another, how do I put it? It's a different era where support for local talent was not that high. So for you to fill up Convention Center and fill up Royal Villas consecutively, it wasn't anything heard of. And the reason it worked out is a whole lot of artists came together to make sure it happens. When Singaba did their launch as well, a whole lot of artists came together on that project. If you go through how many different artists were featuring there, but you can't look at it and say, oh, you guys don't support each other. Listen, if I don't see what your story is about, if I don't see what your contribution is to the industry, I don't vibe with it. You get what I'm saying? And it's not shade on you. It's that I'm sure there are people around you. I was seeing Mr. Triggerson for the first time at the Swamas. I didn't know there was a dude like that in Swaziland. And the moment I saw him, I'm like, dude, let me get your number. Let's see if we can hook something up. And that's just all it is. If it doesn't come to me and touch me, I shouldn't be there to figure out if I'm gonna like it or not. I should be there because, yo, tonight's gonna be a good night.
Love you, Auntie. You know why?
Let's be wasting money.
Yeah, I mean...
Do you know why?
What?
Because, I like your answer because so many artists, support local, but they are not putting in the work. So it's hard to go to Nakoka, my 150, I'm being your 10 album. You understand?
There was a guy who came into... Where were we? We're at one of these shopping malls. But Manzini. I think what is it? Cornerstone? What is it? Riverstone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Stegi my cheek.
Okay.
Stegi my cheek. Anyway, so this guy comes up to me and he gives me a CD. And he says to me, you should buy this to support the local arts. So I'm like, what's it about? He's like, no, I rap. Okay, look at the CD. I'm not trying to throw shade on the guy, but look at the CD. It's the writable ones. He's written it in Sandla and what have you. But he's charging me $60. Okay? So I asked the guy, I'm like, are you charging me the $60 or are you asking me to contribute towards you making a demo? He's like, I'm charging you for the bars. And this has been my problem with some of the new school. Entitlement. Because I rap, you should label me the best that ever did it. Because I got a song on radio and it got onto MTN's top 20, you should label me the best. Nobody cares if you got onto #1 and you stayed on #1 for 2 weeks. Nobody really cares. What people care about is how much of an impact do you have on your genre. When you speak, how many people listen? When you call a show, how many people come out? I mean, guys are on Facebook telling us what they're doing and getting 300 likes. Nobody cares. You could be getting 1 like, but if you call a show, people come through, and that's what we care about. What's your impact? And what I'm trying to say is, I think there's a lot of guys who are putting in the work. A lot of guys who I don't like, that when I look at them, I'm like, yo, you are putting in the work. And I will go and stand in the audience, clap along, pretend I like the songs, even though it's not my vibe, but because I see the contribution to the industry. And that's all it is. If you're not contributing to the industry and you're not my tribe, why am I there?
Because most of the guys I follow, it's not really okay, it is about the bars. And
Bars!
But about the hustle behind. I always respect the hustle behind. Before we go over before we go over you can actually see the hustle.
For me, it's more than hustle. Like, hustle is I think, the huge part. For me, I look at vision and proof of the vision. I could come here and say to you, hey, yo, I want to put on AKA on my track. I want to what. And then 3 months from now, so what's the plan? Hey, yo, I'm trying to get R. Kelly on the track. what. And then a year from now, hey, yo, I'm running for president. But when we look at the time that you've been in existence, we haven't seen not one red shadow of something you said you would do that you did. When we did Love Chronicles, all Mosaic said to me is, hey, if you want me to spend time on your project, we're releasing it. And we're releasing it as Claiming Ground's first body of work coming out. If you're not down with that, I can't work with you. That was straight up. And to be honest with you, for me it was a hobby. Because I'm in law school, I've got plans of opening my own law firm. I'm in another page. I'm like, yo, I'm just doing this to put down a couple of blocks that people can follow. Hopefully some guy comes on as an R&B cat, takes my shine, and I fall into the background, but I put something on. He's like, no, if you're not down for what I'm trying to build, I'm not working with you. Same thing happened with Milchi. Milchi told me, if this is a hobby for you, I'm not down. So okay, yeah, I lied a bit, I'll admit that. It's not a hobby. I'm in it for the long run, you know, just to get a few records in. And you know, I my early part of my career, I worked with Ziawa. That's the first producer I worked with. Yeah, back in the day. I worked with. Yeah, he recorded my first two tracks. I worked with, guys won't remember him because he moved to the UK. Smuranium. He goes by the name King Ciso now. Y'all know. So I worked with him on. Yeah, no. Yeah, boy. We're talking about my veteran. We're talking about him.
I've heard of him. Oh, no, I've met him.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. So I've worked with Milchi, I've worked with Mosaic, I've worked with Sub Jams. There is evidence in what my vision was, to work with the greatest in Swaziland. I've worked with Psycholusion, I've worked with Bolocha, I've worked with Nomalungelo, I've worked with Flow, I've worked with Mosaic, I've worked with a whole lot of people who are not even in my genre, Cracks, and I've worked with people who, when I listen to you, I'm like, yo, I see you have an idea of where you want to go, and if you do reach where you're going, I want to be a part of the story, so I'm in. But if I don't see it, you can't sit there and say to somebody, I don't see you at my shows, you don't support local talent. I might not support your one, but there's quite a lot of people. If you go through my phone, there isn't a single track that I don't download. If I see a link and I see it's a Swazi, I don't even need to know you. Download. It will cost me nothing. That's what you do. It'll cost me nothing. I'm sitting on Wi-Fi, probably not the one paying for it. Might as well download it as many times as possible. But if I listen to it and it doesn't speak to me, you can't then force me to buy the CD.
You've opened for Bricklays, for Whiskey,
Bricklays.
Brick and Live, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You ain't the only one, dog.
Go Whiskey.
Yeah.
Was that the highlight?
One highlight was the Ice Prince feature. Reason being, it was a goal that was completely far removed from what I thought is possible.
How did that happen?
We were doing an interview, we're doing a media run in SA, and okay, wait, let me give you the backstory first. So, Lies the Truth. Okay, Love Chronicles comes out, and CG pushes that project, and all of a sudden Tiyas is known as R&B crooner on his first album. Lies the Truth comes out, and I felt like for CG to also grow and for me to grow, we need to part ways. Utter respect for what they had done for my career, but for growth to have happened, I felt I need to take charge of the decisions around the brand. So Lies the Truth comes out, I speak to my brother, Andile, goes by the name of Aries. Shout out Aries. He's my younger... Yeah. So I talked, we have a conversation. I say to him, look, all I want in a manager is a person who opens doors. If you can kick down or kick open a door, I will do presentations and we will move from artist to management. But I don't want to be knocking on doors the whole time. I want to create, and when the doors open, I leave this and I go handle. And he says, no, not a problem, let's do this. And in a space of 3 months, we pulled off the Royal Villas show and the Conventions Center show. And with that cash, we go to Joburg for 3 months. Again, with the vision that, hey, Joburg, all we gotta do is just knock on a few doors, give people our music, and we'll be famous. We're there for 3 months. The low of being in Joburg is, I remember one time we ran out of all the cash. We didn't have an idea of how we're gonna drive ourselves back. And as a joke, because that's who Aries is, he bought a raw cabbage with our last 20 bucks. I was so pissed. So he buys a raw cabbage and he says, no, dog, I want you to see how dope this is right now. So we're hungry and here's a cabbage that we can't do anything with but drive back to Steezy with. And the whole time we're in Joburg, we're listening to Ole Go, tell me something. And we say to each other, one day we will make a track with Ice Prince in passing. Fast forward to Hello Sunshine. I'm sitting in an interview and the interviewer asked me, who would you want to work with? Because we're talking about globalizing Africa, making Africa one. And he says, who would you want to work with? And I'm like, it's a no-brainer for me. I say Ice Prince. He's like, Ice Prince? I'm like, yeah, Ice Prince. Why? I'm like, well, there's a story behind it. I wouldn't want to get into it unless it happens. So as we're driving back, I'm with my manager, Christian Tabo. He says, I think we should contact the guy who was interviewed, because when you said that, it sounded like he knows the chap. So he gets in touch with him and says, my artist really wants to do a feature with Ice Prince. Are you able to make it happen? And the guy says, yeah, he's a very good friend of mine. Very good friend of mine. Let me give him a call and see what's happening. Gives us a call maybe about 3 days later. Yeah, I've talked to him. He wants to hear something from me. If he can hear something from me, if he vibes with it, you guys can work. So now I said, so how many tracks should we send? No, just send one. Yo, 3 albums. Which one are we sending? No, we'll send him. We'll send him a concept to the track we want to do. So we send the concept. About 2-3 days later, he sends back an MP3 version with his verse on it. Not a reply, yeah, no, we'll think about it. Sends back the track. I lost my mind. So I'm calling Andy. I'm like, dude, you will not believe who I'm listening to on my track right now. And all it said for me is, if you set your dreams higher and dedicate your everything to going towards them, you eventually get there. The universe conspires in your favor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, this is what I love, is when people get on something you're doing because they really, really love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Not just because.
Yeah.
Not just because. So your story involves
You're right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, he didn't ask for another one. He didn't.
No, he just gave us the track, and it also showed me that, I don't know, in Swaziland, I'll speak for myself, you do get into that point where you feel like you've done it all, Lakai. And then when somebody comes up to you, you're just all up in everything that is you, that you don't spend time to say, okay, but I got here because so many people contributed to me getting here. It's only right that I contribute to you getting to where you want to go. That just made it stick out. I mean, the guy is huge throughout the continent. And for him, we didn't pay him. We didn't have a contract with him. We didn't have long meetings about who's going to own this percentage and that percentage and what's the marketing plan. And all it was is old school. I have a track that I think I want you to jump on. And we had been saving that track for the longest time. Even when we made the beat, if you were to talk to John Sisk, I said to him, I want it to be dance. Yeah, he's nice with it. I said to him, dude, I want a track that if I could get Ice Prince, and this is before I even did the interview. So I'm saying to him, if I could do a track with Ice Prince, I would want it to be dance, but have an African feel in there that he can jump on. And when I heard that beat, I sat with that beat for the longest time and only wrote it when I knew that it's possible for him to get on the track. So yeah, that was one highlight. I think another highlight was the first music video we did. There were lots of music videos that I did for previous albums that we did not release. Because each time I looked at them, I was like, yo, this is not it.
Never put out the project if it's not great.
Yeah, I know, it was not it, my guy. Yo, there was a song, This Is Your Song, it became huge. And even when we do shows, people would really want to hear that. And even today, when we do a live show, people don't feel it's a show until you've done that one. So we did the music video. There's a guy in Nelspruit who used to work at Swaziland. He's like, I feel you. I'm like, you understand what I'm saying? He's like, yeah. But the guys in Joburg want to charge me 30,000. I ain't got 30,000. He's like, nah, we can do that thing for 3,000. I'm like, for real? Yeah. For real? Yeah, so we do the video. Yo, bruh, I still have it with me on my phone. It's so bad that my old man...
Gonna play it?
Nah. Even Bege has it. The only people that have seen this video are Andile and myself. Full stop. Like literally the moment it came...
We're hacking your phone.
Nah.
We're hacking your phone.
You would have killed me with one swipe. So when we did Laws of Attraction, we went down to Mozambique and the guy told us how much we should pay. We're like, okay, at least now we can afford at least a bit more. So we give the guy the money. But on the way driving there, we get into a car accident. We're driving our car. Golf 4. Love that car. Knock a stone in the road, and all we see is oil dripping all the way. You can see oil dripping in the rear mirror. Come out, there's smoke, there's everything. We're literally 10 minutes away from the border. So I look at Andy, and Andy says, so what you wanna do? We need to go back and fix the car. I'm like, not a chance. We're leaving the car at the border, we're getting on a bus or a truck, and we are heading to Maputo to shoot. We drive to Maputo, we hitchhike on a truck. It's easy when you talk about artists working together. Easy King Terry is in the truck. We are sitting in a truck driving on dirt roads, and we're seeing huts and what have you. We've never been to Maputo. We have no idea where we're going, and the guy stops in the middle of nowhere. He's like, no, we'll call the guy who's doing the video.
Cool. We want King Terry now.
And the dude drives from Maputo all the way to wherever we were, picks us up, we go into Maputo, and he basically shoots the video, no lights, no makeup. We just wanted to get an idea of what he can do. Shoots the video like, yo, this is it. From Maputo we drove straight to Joburg to try and get the video onto Trace. Video gets onto Trace. We're losing our minds that this is all happening really quick. That was a highlight, because there were so many things that would say just turn back and readjust yourselves, come back at another time. But yeah, for us was major.
So what you did with the ice cream thing? You spoke to the universe and it replied
Straight up.
You know anything? I know what. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap, man.
It's a wrap.
It was real. Realness.
I need you like the birds need grain and the earth needs rain. Like an artist need fans and the other OGs in the game.